had been watching Scarlet Heart, and I had been taking my time on getting back to this review of like the rest of the show from episode 10 to the finale. The reason why, if many of you guys have seen the show, spoiler alert, please do not watch further. But if you've seen the show, the ending can have you feeling some type of way. And I will get to that towards the end of this video. So I'm just going to kind of go in order. Got the deaths that I remember in like that order. And then tell you how I felt throughout the rest of it. So I have my trusty little cast list here, so I don't forget who's who, because there's so many princes. But speaking of princes, this started off, I am still confused on how some princes were like the 14th prince or the 10th prince. Where was the 11th prince? I don't remember them ever mentioning that. But that was something I really wish they would have cleared up in the show. It wasn't a big deal, but it was confusing. Something I want to mention first, the first death. I think it was episode 10. And I shouldn't be emotional about this because a week has gone by. When, what is her name? She was the head of the bathhouse at the time. Her name was Ryeo. When she died, that was the second time that the famous song that like plays when everyone dies, that's the second time it was played. And I remember just bawling my eyes out because I kept thinking to myself of the king and like how sad that had to have been to kill this woman who we find out she was pregnant with his child, and really the queen ended up killing this child, so that was really sad. Court Lady O was dying in a way that really wouldn't have rippled the time because she was going to die anyway, so her dying in that way was actually still beneficial. And it fit really well with the story because it tied into the ending when the fourth prince pretty much, I'm trying to remember what he had to do. He pretty much lost IU. I know I jumped a little far, but I just wanted to say that when the fourth prince lost IU after she gave birth to their child, which I'll get on that later, it was just the irony of how it was such a sad and lonely life. But I did like Court Lady O very much because I think she set up the story for IU and for her character, because she warned her, and IU, you could tell, had to grow into the idea of living her life very restrained. So yeah, it was very sad. This is also where we saw a lot of the progression with the story, because we saw that I think his name is Wook. Let me make sure I'm saying the right one. But this is where we saw that, yeah, Won Wook, he kind of abandons IU and leaves her while she is begging for Court Lady O's life. And we also noticed that this is where the fourth prince comes in and kind of wins IU's heart, because he's the only one willing to really stand for her. Which is ironic because both these men loved her so much, but who she ends up with is neither of them, when you think about it. So after that death, we go on. You know, the king is almost assassin, but it doesn't really matter because he ends up dying on his own. So that happens. I mean, I'm just gonna like jump over all that stuff because I mean, it was bound to happen. I don't know which, the crown prince becomes king. He has a very short life. I actually really liked the crown prince. He was very honorable. I thought he was amazing. I think though he did not have the heart to be king, because he saw that it was tearing his family apart, and he was even willing to give away the crown so that his family could be at peace. But let's be honest, he would have never really had the chance to live because he would have always been a threat. So that was just really sad. And the fact that the crown prince, the king, he died because of IU's maid poisoning the water. Whoo, that was something. The maid that did that, her story meant really nothing to me till the very end after her death, because I don't know which prince it was, but the prince that had watched over the maid, when he was sentenced to death, he got her will to IU and read it, and it was kind of like a crippling moment when he realized that, you know, he did have feelings for her. He doesn't understand why she still is okay with dying. And so none of these characters you could really hate as the bad guy. Okay, correction. The queen, yes, you kind of hate her, but I mean, she has like she's mortal. Like, we understand why she is the way she is, but she's probably the most disliked. But everyone else had their own reasons, including the prince that took place in poisoning the crown prince. But yeah, when the maid died, I thought her letter had a lot more effect emotional wise the second time it was read by him versus when IU read it. So I thought that was amazing. Okay, so going on from there, we see that I think it's not the fourth, but which prince? Yeah, Wang Yo. Wang Yo goes on to be king kind of by force, and he does it because he kills his brother pretty much. Wang Yo takes over. He kind of separates IU and the fourth prince, and so this is where IU, or the fourth prince's love, actually grew stronger. So that was actually a benefit. But then, of course, we realized just how strong the crown really is because it causes a lot of pressure. And now we have Wang Yo, who is questioning when he's gonna die because he knows it's coming for him. He did terrible things. This is where we notice that Wang Yo, he actually ends up killing the 10th prince. And I'm gonna say this because I said this in my last video. And that was heartbreaking because he was such a young kid. He didn't deserve to die, and his wife, I told you he was gonna realize too late that he loved her. Oh my god. But he did realize it really late, like the night before they died, and they died together. And hold on, my camera's gonna die, so I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. Sorry, my camera was dying. But again, the 10th prince was murdered by his brother Wang Yo. He was a king at the time, and you kind of, the irony of it was just heartbreaking because we were still trying to figure out, was the fourth prince going to become evil, or was his future changing, his legacy? And this is where we see, or IU, for example, actually sees that the fourth prince killed the 10th, but that was the 10th prince's wish. So if we look back for when that happened in IU's time period, it probably was actually the fourth prince just murdering him, but now it was the fourth prince having mercy on his brother, and he's like, you're gonna die anyway, please let me end it for you gracefully. And so that's what he did, and it was really beautiful because I thought it was so sad that he had to die. Oh god, sorry, I'm trying not to think about it. Okay, fast forward. Okay, so Wang Yo ends up dying. I don't know if he was poisoned really or anything like that. He just got really sick. I think he worried himself to death, literally. And this is when the fourth prince steps in and says, you know what, I'm going to be king, because of Wang Yo never declared anyone king, and though his son technically could have been king, the fourth prince was like, I'm going to do it. IU had no objections because she knows the future. She knows it's supposed to happen. Why is she going to object? So that happens. It causes some strain between the fourth prince and his brother, but his actual blood, same mom brother, which causes the brother, let me see what the name is, that brother Jisoo, no, sorry, that's his real name, Wang Zhong, to be sent away, and he was banished from the kingdom. Now, we didn't really know, this was shocking to me, the fact that Wang Zhong, yes, had feelings for IU, because I didn't know that until towards this part when he's like asking IU, like, if you ever want to leave, just let me know and I will take you with me. So fast forward, IU and the fourth prince are great. Fourth prince is asking for kids. IU realized she's not going to live really that much longer, so that's really sad. But you know, the fourth prince in this time period too as well ends up killing the maid for the reason we talked about earlier. Now, when he killed the maid, this had caused IU to be like, you killed pretty much my only friend. She understood why this woman did it. I mean, IU, I did feel like she should have been more understanding, but yes, it was hard on her, so she asked to leave the kingdom. She also asked to leave because multiple reasons. It was causing a lot of strain within the kingdom. It was hurting relationships, and she knew she was going to die at some point anyway, and she was not supposed to be a part of this time period, especially with the king. So that's actually changing a lot of things. Think of, she would have given birth to the first kid. So she goes, and Wang Zhong actually shows up at the kingdom and tells the king, fourth prince, that hey, the king before you made it clear that I can marry IU, and the king did not want to agree to this until it kind of had to be forced out of him because of the queen who he marries, his stepsister. She gets jealous and goes back to Wook, and Wook is the guy that IU loved first, but destroyed it. But Wook goes and he talks to the king, and he's like, me and her, we're supposed to run off together, like, you're second to me and things like that. And so that strained the relationship, and he sent IU away. Now, he didn't want to send her away. It's more of the fact that at that point he was so hurt and he knew IU wanted to leave, so he let her go. What was really sad is that the fortune teller, the guy that could read the stars, the one that was also from the future, he knew all this was going to happen. This was the one time you could tell he broke character, because he was like, I feel like you're really going to regret this if you let IU leave. But the king didn't care and let her go, and you can tell he held back, and he held a lot of restraint, and he was a great character, honestly. And so he pretty much let IU walk out of there knowing that she's gonna die. He also let that happen knowing that when IU's letters were coming in constantly, but they were disguised as Wang Zhong's letters, he knew that those were IU's and that the king should be answering them, but again, he wasn't going to mess with history. So he almost messed with it once, but after that he was like, he had to let it take its course. Wang Zhong and IU kind of live happily together, not romantically, just as friends, and the king believes that they are romantically involved. Let's get into IU's death scene, okay? When IU realized that the king was no longer going to come, because he didn't know, but he wasn't going to come, you can tell that she was losing all hope, and this was after she gave birth to a girl. As she is sitting there and like listening to the song that she sung to all of the princes back like years and years ago, when they were all alive and still happy and not fighting for the crown yet, I can imagine just how much pain it made her feel to think about that, to think about all these people died, and not because of her, but they just all died. And so I understand her last words, which were like, make sure my daughter never lives in the castle, and then the kingdom. And then she pretty much said she wants to forget all of them. Why? Like, obviously she does. She doesn't know at this point how history will write this. So to her, she's probably thinking that it will still be written the exact same as the fourth prince being a murderer, though she knows the truth. But I mean, to her, the same thing still happened, so they might just record it that way. And this is where she just, fades off into Wang Zhong's arms and dies. It was so sad. I was bawling my eyes out, you guys. It's been a week. Okay, it's been a week. These tears aren't fake, okay? I thought that was crazy. That they actually killed her off before the king could see her. When the king finds out that she dies, you could tell it was just crippling. He ran in there, he hugged her ashes, and he hugs her ashes and he takes her away because that is his woman. That's the one who it was meant to be his person. And she died. I think this was actually a very sad but needed thing to happen in this drama. One, because it is based off kind of a real story, and two, K-dramas don't typically go this route, and so it struck me. I know it struck a lot of people, but it was right. But it still sucked. And there's one other thing that I have to point out that really sucked too. But so yeah, IU had to die, and then you see though that the king becomes a great king. He frees the slaves based on IU's words, and so that was actually different. But he doesn't allow his son and his wife to get close because he knows that, like, IU was the one for him and the only one for him. And so going forth with that, life was just, it was profitable because he saved a lot of lives, he benefited a lot of people. He just lived very lonely. He never knew he had a daughter until the kind of last 10 minutes of the episode, where he sees her running around and then finds out from Jung that that's his daughter pretty much. And then you could tell it took him so much strength to walk away from her, like, because of when he was like, keep the daughter here. Jung was like, IU said she doesn't want her here. So when you like saw him look down at her and then he walked past her with his blanket stare, he loved IU still that much to agree to her wishes. And so, which was really sad because he lived such a lonely life. So, the series ends, and I'll get to IU's part. The series ends with him basically like saying that, like, you know, if you're not from my world, IU, I will find you, which everyone's thinking is going to lead to a season 2. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. I heard that the reviews weren't that great in Korea. However, this was an amazing drama. It actually, I think it is better than The Moon That Embraces the Sun. It just is. And now we can talk about the very final scene to me of this drama. IU. IU wakes up. She doesn't have any really memory about like living in the past other than the fact that it was a dream. But she just is very confused by why she continues to have this dream. All the little stuff there doesn't really matter. She runs into the fortune teller again, who I guarantee he knows. I don't know how he keeps going back and forth just knowing his future. But what really got me is that IU is walking through the museum and sees all these portraits that were made from back in the Goryeo or something period, and she sees the king and she reads about all the good things he did, and she can't help but be happy about that he is no longer known as like this bloody dictator. But then when she sees his final picture of the king standing around his kingdom, he's alone, and she breaks into tears. And this to me was IU's best acting, that and her dusting too. But yes, she like clasps her mouth and she bawls because she's just apologizing for leaving him. She actually left him, and this I know is why a lot of people had bad reviews about the last episode, because how can you let her feel that way, that she actually left him alone? And she did, and sadly that's what happens in life. You die without knowing, you leave people behind. But she did make a difference. That's what matters. She made a difference, but she really, I feel sad because it leaves you so empty too, because you're just like, he really lived his life by himself. And like, we don't even get to know if he got to spend any time with his daughter. We assume that maybe he did, but it just was so lonely without her. Oh, but I did love the drama a lot. The fact that it made me feel all of these emotions means that I think it's amazing drama. Even with that ending, I think that if they wrapped everything up nicely, it wouldn't have been as good. So that's what sucks. It just sucks both ways. Wow, you guys, wow. Look at my tears. So right now I'm feeling empty, of course. So I need you guys to recommend a drama to me. One that, I mean, I watched a few already just to kind of like, I literally binged 2 dramas, you guys, right now. Right, I binged Cheese in the Trap, very lighthearted, very cute. If you guys want me to make a review about it, comment below. And then I'm currently in the middle of I'm Not a Robot, and that is really cute too. It seems lighthearted to me, but we'll see. Okay, it might get emotional. But comment your dramas below. Comment your favorite historical dramas, but please tell me a drama that I should be watching right now to get me past Scarlet Lovers. Alright? If you guys liked my review, hit that like button and don't forget to hit the bell. And I will see you guys later. Bye!